Today we're talking about teaching your baby to be a good sleeper. And I'm here with Jo Ryan, a parent consultant from Baby Bliss. So Jo, is it unrealistic to expect your baby to sleep throughout the entire night?
It's not unrealistic. It is, however, unrealistic to expect it from day one. New babies need to be fed regularly, and that means if it's a breastfed baby, that can be anywhere from 2 to 3 hourly. If they're formula-fed babies, they usually last 3.5 to 4 hours between feeds. But new little babies need regular sustenance, so that means feeding them through the night, unfortunately. However, it's if you get them onto a good routine and they're sleeping well between feeds, then often they can drop a feed quite early. And for a new baby, sleeping through the night really means 5 to 6 hours. So it's not like our sleeping through the night, which is about 8 hours. So, if you can get them to go from midnight to 5 or 6 a.m, for a new mother, that's fantastic. And for a baby, it's a great thing too. So the ways you can do that is, like I said, you get them onto a good routine. So you have them on your sort of sleep-wake feed activity, which we talked about before. And there are also other things that can help you. New babies need to be wrapped or swaddled. And
what's that exactly?
Swaddling a baby is when you wrap them in a big piece of cloth, usually a muslin, nice and tight so that they don't move around. New babies have a reflex, a startle reflex, so their hands tend to, if their hands aren't sort of contained, they throw their arms back and they startle and wake up if they're asleep. So if you can contain them and keep their arms close to their body and wrap tightly, it makes them feel secure. It's like they remember when they were in utero. So babies often move around, and if they feel contained within their wrap, they will go to sleep or stay asleep rather than wake up and cry with the startle reflex. So that's a really important thing. You need to wrap your baby before they go to bed. You need to also make sure that they're well fed. So you need to put in a concerted effort to give them a good feed if they're breastfed, which means in the early days feeding them for up to an hour at a time, because new little babies often don't suck constantly. So you'll be stopping and starting. So within that hour you want them to have at least sort of 20 minutes of constant sucking. So if you know they've had a good feed, that they've been awake for at least an hour, you wrap them up, you make sure that they're burped properly, or at least given the opportunity to let everything settle down, and then you put them in their cot. And I sort of always encourage mothers to try to put them in their cots awake, and don't be afraid if your baby's awake, because often women are terrified that their baby's awake and they're like, they should be dead asleep when you put them in the cot. But actually it's really good to put them down awake, because then they can learn to put themselves off to sleep without help from you.
If you have any more questions on helping your baby become a great sleeper, you can contact Jo on the email address below.